in. That is good. Yeah, buddy. Now, let's go get that last bearing. Alright guys, get your final bearing. Now you're going to have, this bearing is going to have the inner race and then the outside. What you want to do guys, just take a little glue. You're going to place this with the inner race facing down. Alright, now also guys, let me get a pick here. Down inside the forward clutch, you're going to have these little tabs right here. You're going to have 4 of them located around. You got to make sure when you set that bearing down, that bearing sets around all of them. That's going to be a locating tab. Those are going to keep the bearing in place. Make sure it's not off to the side like that. Like right now, that's wrong. The bearing is down there, but it's not. It's wrong. It's wrong. Take it out. No, just move it. So you just move it to the side, and you want to make sure that it's on those locating tabs.
It's not on the locating tabs.
Huh?
That it's not on the locating tabs.
Yeah. I make sure, you know what I'm doing. Alright, the next thing you got, guys, is you're going to have a high pressure lip seal. That's a seal with a metal washer on the outside. This is the old one. Throw it out. Don't be using the old parts. Get your new one.
You just threw it the same way. How we know that's a new one?
It's a new one because I said so. Alright, so put some glue on it. Now remember guys, all the parts that we use on each video, we put a link in the description below so you can use the exact parts that we use. Yeah, buddy. Alright, now down into your case, right here, you're going to see a little hole with a recessed ring around it. That's where you're going to set that into. You're going to set that in just like that. Make sure that it's into place. Okay guys, next thing I want to do is go grab your pump. Alright guys, you got your oil pump, you got your 3 I think 5mm hex bolts. Then you got one bolt that we left inside the oil pump. Notice it's got the washer on it. Take that bolt off of there. Pull it off inside your kit. And no matter what kit you get, whether the master or banner or the basic seal kit, you're gonna the washers, these seals, O-rings will come with it.
Is it a washer, a seal, or an O-ring?
All three.
You just called it 3
It's
different
all
things.
3 into 1.
Oh my god.
Alright, put that on. Put that to the side. Now, what you're going to do is, on your oil pump, you're going to have, see a little pin. Okay, that's the front, the back of it. Got that little pin right there, and then the opening. Down into your case, you're going to see, that's where your pin is going to set into. It's going to set right on top of that O-ring. Now, what you're going to do here is just carefully lower it down, and your mounting holes are 1, 2, and 3. So you can just look at those and bring it down. And you want to just make sure you don't move that O-ring out of the way. Alright. Okay, I want it right now. Let's see if we can see it from the side. No, can't see it. If you're unsure, guys, take that pump back up and make sure that thing is in there. Alright, so I'm going to set it back down. Looking for that locating pin. Once I got it. Now, once you got it down there, your pump is going to wobble a little bit. See that? That's because it's not going to set flush because you're on that seal, that lip seal now. Now, what you're going to do is take your 3 bolts. And you want to bring them down just hand tight. And, you know, I'm doing it like this, but get your socket and just bring them just to their finger tight. All right, let's get that done. got them down, finger tight. Yeah, this one. Now what you're gonna do, guys, take your bolt. Once you put the new O-ring on it. Now your transmission might not have a bolt with the O-ring. It might just have the sealing compound. Definitely put that sealing compound on there. Alright, lift your transmission to the side. And what you're going to do here is they're going to have a bolt hole right here. That's going into the pump. Take your bolt and bring that in. Now you're going to tighten the bolts up, but you're going to start by tightening up these three up here. Now these three up here is tightened to 14 foot-pounds.
Or 19 Newton meters.
Or 19 Newton meters. And then the bottom one is tightened up to 20 foot-pounds.
Or 28 Newton meters.
Or 28. Now we're going to do one together and then you're on your own. So, what did I say? 14. Let me set up my torque wrench. Should have set this up before we started. 14. Okay. Guys, you know what, guys? Check it out. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me get my stuff. Okay, these are 6mm bolts. Guys, I'm gonna put a link in the description to this set right here. This set is great. This set is nothing but hex sockets. The metric and standard size, American size. This thing is great. Put a link in the description below on that. For everything. Alright, so let's go over here. And when you tighten these up, guys, go one or either one over here. And then go to the other side before you do that one. Do that one last. So we can go right here. Okay. And this one, then that one, and then 20 on the one below. Let's get that done. Alright guys, I just took this pin back out of here because it was in there, but I did take it up. I take it out during disassembly. Here's your manual shaft right here to locate for shifting into gear and all. Just notice how it moves back and forth. Take that pin, stick that pin in there, put a little pressure on it, and you're going to move that shaft back and forth until it pushes down, and that's going to locate it. Now you got your bolt that we put in there, the 10mm bolt. Take that bolt out now. Now you're going to get your detent spring, and that locks it in the gear when you shift gears. There's going to be a locating hole right there. That's where that little end of that piece going to. Put that just like that into there, and the bearing rides up against there. Make sure that bearing is good. Put that up there. Start it off by a couple of threads by hand, and then you're gonna tighten that up to, I believe, was it 61 inch-pounds?
Yeah.
61 inch-pounds.
Or 7 Newton meters.
Or 7 Newton meters. All right, let's get that tightened up. All right, guys. The next thing we're gonna do is be installing our stator cover. Now, before we do that, we're gonna have to replace the 2 sealing rings that's on it. Now, these 2 sealing rings, the joints together, they lock in together. So you want to make sure that when you put them in, they lock in like that. Or if not, if they off to the side or something, transmission is gonna fail. So let's turn this over. Grab you a pick. Just my look. I got it right there. Take both off. And be careful with these because, again, these are plastic. Alright, now, before we install our new ones, what I want you to do is take some carburetor cleaner and clean up all around here. You want to make sure there's no dirt or grime inside those grooves, or those seals will not close properly. So let's go clean that up. Okay, let's wipe it up. Guys, again, I'm gonna put this in the link description below. Definitely get these rags. What do you call them, Sylvia? Microfiber rags. Don't get the shop towels and clean this up because they leave dirt and lint and all that in there. Definitely get these. I'll put a link down below. Alright, grab your transmission goo. What you want to do is put it around the shaft on this. I'm doing this because you want to make sure that when we put those sealing rings in there, they will stick inside. Then take one of the sealing rings, if you want, carefully. Don't pull on this ring or you'll break it. So just go around, put a little goo. Now then you want to open it up just enough to get around there. Go into the groove and then make sure those two ends butt together properly. And then you want to just squeeze it and make sure they are connected. They're in there. Then take the second one, and then you want to do exactly the same thing. Okay. Make sure you got enough in there. Alright, let's go get this installed. Alright guys, now we're ready to install our stator cover. Now what I want you to do, take notice of your cover, and there's going to be a big section right over here. That section is going to line up with this section of the cover, the case, and that hole right there is going to line up with that hole. So what you're going to do is lower it down into place, and that's perfect. Now this is very important, guys. You wanna, when you set this down, your stator should meet right up with there should be no space between the case and that cover. You should be able to move it and you can hear it rub against each other. If yours do not do that, that means your forward clutch and everything is not set in all those friction discs. So you definitely want to do that. Now what I want you to do is take 5, you're going to have 7 bolts that holds that on. Take 5 of them. You're going to start them off 1, 2, 3, start them off by hand by a couple threads. Number 4 and number 5. Alright, leave those 2 off because you're going to have a baffle plate that goes over that, the other 2. Alright, now let's go get that. Alright guys, you got those in, just brought down. Now you're going to take your oil pump baffle, and it's going to be put in these 2 bolt holes right here, just like that. Start them off. Then you're going to have your 2 10mm bolts that you put in way earlier at the beginning. Take those 2 out because those are going to be going to your oil pump plate. So take those 2 bolts out. Grab your plate. Set it in there just like that. Put your bolts back in there. Now you're going to have in your party line this little bracket right here. This little bracket's going to go right here. And there's going to be a little part that sticks out right here. That's going to go on this side. So you want to make sure you put it up like that. And just start those off by a couple threads. Alright, let's get some torque specs and let's get this all tightened down. Alright guys, now what we're going to do is first bring all these bolts in hand tight. And when I don't know, when I say hand tight, what I like to do is get a ratchet and I bring it down, and that's all I do is bring it down till I just feel a little snug or a little tug on the ratchet. And again, what I like to do is go crossways, don't go around in one. So I go 1, then goes over here to 2, 3, 4, go around, you know, so you can bring it down evenly. Now, and I see, as you can see, I wrote it down on the casing in the stator, the bolts, torques. All these bolts right here, all the 12mm bolts, they're going to be torqued down to 19 foot-pounds. The 2 over here are going to be tightened down to 4 foot-pounds. So let's tighten up those first, and then we're going to tighten up those. Alright, let's get that done. Alright guys, now on your oil pump, inside there is a groove. See that groove, Civvy?
One moment, please. No. Oh, it won't focus. Okay. Alright, it's here.
Alright, now what you're going to do is take your snap ring. This snap ring can squeeze together like this. Now what you want, you can you know, try to spread this open a little to make sure that it's going to go in there good, tight. And what you want to do is fit it down over there, squeeze it together. You got it? Squeeze it together and bring it into that groove right there. Which is not in there. Alright, make sure that part is facing out this way. Alright, the next thing you want to do is you're going to have a thrust washer with 3 tangs out there. Take your transmission goo and you want to put it on this side where the tangs are sticking up, and you want to put some around here. And then you want to put that on the stator, and you want to put the 3 tangs into those 3 holes right there. Alright, just make sure that's down. Alright, let's get the other parts. Alright guys, the next thing we're going to do is take you a big gear right here. This is a gear right here, and I'm going to show you something guys. If you look at this gear sideways, you're going to notice that from the gear part, this part sticks up more than the bottom part. You want to make sure this part up here is sticking out towards you. So you're going to put that on to the stator and push that down. The next thing you want to do is take your oil pump gear, and on the other side there is a bearing, and it's got some splines inside, and these splines will go right over the oil pump. Now, this is where it gets a little, well, it could be, it's not that bad, it shouldn't be that bad. This bearing goes down into its part of the oil pump. It goes down, and then this snap ring keeps it from coming up. But what you're going to have to do, let's just do it. Get your chain, put your chain on the gear, bring it over, put it on the big gear. Alright, set it onto the oil pump, just like that. Now, what you're going to do is take your snap ring pliers and your ring down there, the snap ring, you're going to open that snap ring up to allow this gear to drop down. Because right now, it is not down. So, let's do here is reach in there, open that up. This sucks. This sucks. It's still not going down. There is something stopping this thing from going down. Let's see something. Oh, okay. I see what's going on. I have to, this thing has to, at the same time, I have to push it back. That sucks. How the heck am I supposed to do that? Ugh. This bites. This is some bogus mess right here. Let me see something here, guys. Make sure this thing. Oh, wait a minute. Something around here. I'm not going down. Alright, maybe I'm not pushing enough pressure on it. Let's do that again.
My question is, this is the best it could come up with?
I wish I had an answer for it because it sure looks like it is. That's what you call CVT. Alright, let's do that again, guys. Okay. This time we'll put a little more pressure down on the bearing to push down on it. Alright, release it. There we go. Picked it up a little bit and I heard it snap right into place. There it is. Ugh. Finally. Alright, let's move on. Alright guys, next thing to do, grab you a new input shaft O-ring that's going to go around here. Guys, pay close attention to your O-rings. This is why I like to, I don't know where, here it is. This is why when we took this transmission apart, I kept the old O-ring around it, so I know, because you're gonna get a lot of O-rings at the same size but different thickness. So I kept my old one, and I've got the kit and looked in the kit and got one. Well, Sylvia looked in the kit and got one. So I'm gonna get a little gel over here. Now don't stretch this O-ring out. Don't be pulling on it and stretching it out. Just put the goo up there. Put it on to the shaft, make sure it goes into that groove, and then put a little bit more goo around it. Alright, next thing you're going to do is, I hope you followed the instructions on disassembling this. You got two 10mm nuts over here that you put on. Take those two 10mm nuts off. and then install your baffle plate. Like that. Oh, let me get rid of this O-ring right here. I'll be like, where this come from? Alright, put your nuts on and tighten them up. Alright guys, the next step we're going to do is installing our differential gear and our reduction gear. But before we do that, I want you to get you a flat screwdriver and a hammer, and let's pop this seal out right here. Now, there's an indentation all around on the inside. Just place it in there, take your hammer, pop that right out. Now that you got that out, let's set our differential in. Now your differential looking like that, there's a part that sticks out, and then there's the short part right here. The short part right here is going to go down into there. So we're going to set that down just like that. Now your reduction gear is going to be opposite. Looking like that, you're going to have the long part and then the short part. This one, the short part, the long part is going to go down. And at the same time, putting it down, this gear is going to lock into the differential gear, and then the gear up here is going to lock into this one. So you're going to put it down. And it is into place. Okay. Let's clean all this up, and now what I want you to do, guys, is go grab. I'm gonna slide. Well, I'm gonna just leave it just like that. Go get your torque converter, your converter cover. That's the cover that goes out here. All right, guys, we got our converter housing. Now, what we're gonna do is remove two seals. One seal over here. That's actually the axle seal, just like the other one. Then you got one right here. That's the torque converter seal. Right there. So, let's turn this back over. Now this is up against the floor right here, so I'm going to take a block of wood and just put it up under there. Same principle. On this one, get your screwdriver right in between there. Knock it out. This one's a little bit different. This one, because here's the lip right, the lip is right there. So you want to go into the lip and pop that one out. Just like notice, they are different. Your kit should come with new seals. If not, use the old ones. It don't matter. If it leaks, it leaks. Yeah, guys, y'all keep on listening to me. Alright, turn the cover case over. Go to your kit and grab two new seals. Alright guys, the next thing we're going to do is install our new torque converter seal and one of the axle seals. Now, what you want to do, guys, if you don't want to damage, now a lot of times, guys, they'll take a seal, put it right there, and just take a hammer and beat it in there. Sometimes you can damage the seal, and you don't want to do that. You can miss, the hammer miss, and mess up that seal inside, and it's leaking. So you definitely want to get you a seal installer kit. Again, I'm going to put a link in the description below. Now, the only thing is, you guys got to make your configuration about which ones you're going to use to install it. So what we're going to do is install the new converter seal first. On one side, it's going to look like this. You're going to see like an insert around the ring, and then on the other side, it's completely flat. That's how you're going to put it in. So you want to look at your set. I'm going to use this one. Good, it's right on the outside. It's going to insert ring in here. Put that. And I can use one of these to put like that. And I'm going to set that in there. And it'd be good if you had like something to put right on top, so you can just knock it down. just a little bit more over on this side. We want to make sure it's even all around. Now this seal can only go but so far, but you just want to keep on hitting it. And that looks good right there. Alright, let's take our other one. Figure something to go inside or right on the edge, because you definitely don't want to hit on the inside. You want to hit out here. And this one fits perfect right up there. Set that up there like that. Alright guys, now we're going to install the axle seal, and we got our adapter. What I want to make sure your adapter fits on the edges, so that's the part you want to hit down. We got this little cup right here. You're going to set that up there, and you want to make sure when you bring it down, it's just this is going to be flush with the case. How does it look? Oh, a little bit more for you. Looks like I can go a little bit more.
Maybe a little.
Okay, and just a tiny bit more right there. That is perfect. Now let's see how it sticks up a little bit like that, the outside. That's good. That's no problem. That's just the outside of the seal. You do not want to damage inside here. This is where it's going to be sealing up against the axle. Alright, let's go on. Alright guys, just like the side cover to the main cover, we're going to be installing a thin layer of gasket maker around the side. Now, just take a rag, guys, and just go around and wipe it. Don't use no wire brush. Don't use anything, because a wire brush, the bristles will come off and drop down inside that transmission, and that could be fatal. Alright, so go ahead, wipe around it. Get your gasket maker. There'll be a link in the description below. Don't use no silicone. Use gasket maker. Alright, then just take your time. And now when you go around the bolt holes, remember like in the last time, you don't have to go around this way and circle around. Just want to stay inside right there. Alright, let's go around the whole case. Alright guys, now we're ready to install our converter cover. On the side of your converter cover, you're going to have 2 dowel pins. So that's going to be your alignment. Or you ain't got to worry about that. You already did. Alright, so our differential, the part right here, is going to line up to right here. So let's bring our cover over. Bring down. Now that I got it on today, I'm gonna line up some bolts, and it is down. Now, next thing you're gonna do, you're gonna have a bunch of bolts that goes into your converter cover. There is going to be 3 bolts. No, actually 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, you're going to have these 5 bolts. That's going to be different from the rest. There might be another one around here somewhere. And those bolts are going to have dots on them. But you're going to take these 3 right here. Inside here, you're going to, this bolt right here, this hole right here, and actually you're going to see the word glue up there. So you're going to put 1 into there. Start it off by a couple of threads, 2 into there, and then put 1 into there. Alright guys, we only got 2 more. It is only 2. I thought it was more, but it's not. Just 2 more. And they go right here. Right here, one of the sensors go, one of the speed sensors go. The input speed sensor, I think it was the input speed sensor. 1 in each side right here. Put those in. Tighten them in by a couple threads. Alright guys, grab your remaining bolts and you're going to install them all around the cover. And then we're going to tighten them up to 33 foot-pounds.
45 newton meters.
45 newton meters. And you're going to start from the center and then alternate on the outside to bring this cover down evenly. Alright, let's get that done. Alright guys, that is done. The next thing I want you guys is turn your transmission upside down. Ooh, look at that new push belt down there. Yeah buddy, that look good. You better hope it run. Alright, now, while I got it over here, let me get this block of wood. Now, inside here, you got a seal. This seal is the reverse brake valve body to main case seal right here. So you want to make sure you get your pick or something, pop that out. Also, I'll show you in a minute. Let's clean that up. Alright, let's get our new one. Now, your seal, there's going to be a little lip sticking out on both sides. It don't matter. So there's no upside or downside to it. Alright, so what you want to do, just get a little goo. Set it right there. Then we're going to push that into place. Then put a little more glue on the outside. Alright guys, we are ready to install our valve body. Now remember all the bolts that we put in there? You can take them all out, guys.
All the red ones.
Yeah, all the red ones, take them all out. I mean, you better not be unbolting anything. Alright, now what we're going to do is remove our harness, because we're going to install our harness first. So we got our connector right here that's going onto all our solenoids and stepper motor. Push that tab in, unplug it. We got a little tab right here that we're probably going to get some, get something to squeeze those tabs in. There. Get gotta squeeze those tabs in. And yeah, here we go. Squeeze those tabs in and pull out. Okay. Then we're gonna go around here and disconnect our ROM. Now guys, this is very important right here. Check this out. If you're buying a new valve body, if your ROM is still intact, nothing messed up with it, replace that, and then you can replace your valve body. This ROM is what hold all your information to the car. That's what has.
Explain that again, because that sounded different than what you're actually meaning.
What do you mean?
You said replace that, and then you can replace the.
Okay, oh yeah. Keep this. Keep your old one, and you can replace the valve body. That's good.
Right.
That's
Or
it.
take your old ROM and put it on a new valve body. How's that?
No, I said it better. All right. So once we got that, guys, we got our new O-ring on our connector over here. Get your goo. Put a lot of goo on this right now. All right. So, my friend, let me put some gloves on. All right, guys. Take your goo. Put it around this connector. Not inside the connector, just around the connector. Alright, now we're going to install it into the case. You see this little part that's sticking out right here? That is going to set into the case, into this little channel right there. So we're going to bring it down. Push that through the case. And it's not in all the way. Okay, now it is. Take your clip that locks this into place, and it's got a groove right around it. Just push that on. Snaps right into place. Make sure your harness is to the side so we get ready to install our valve body. Alright guys, now we're ready to install. This, guys, is very important. Now this is where this part is important. That we drilled off that screwdriver and kept the stepper motor arm in place. Whoops. When you bring this down, that opening is got to hook onto right here. It should be perfectly lined up right now. Now, if you notice, the end of this bracket, end of this arm is open right here. That gives you enough allowance so that rod can fit right in there. So we're going to turn it over. Our deton cable is going to be right here. Deton, the arm right here, the manual lever. Make sure your harness is pulled to the side over here. Go on to there first. Bring it down, and you can look inside to make sure that you are going down on that arm. But if you're lining up with everything, everything should go right down into place. So you're not down all the way yet. Now we are in to place. Oh, this bushing came out, so be careful. Make sure that bushing is down in there. Alright, let's bring our harness over. We're not going to connect it yet, just make sure everything is, we can get to it. Alright, let's get some bolts. Alright guys, now on your valve body, blah blah, blah blah blah. Valve body bolts. You're going to have 11 altogether. One of them is going to be shorter than all the rest. Take the shortest one. It's going to go right here in this location. Put that in there. Make sure it starts off. Then you're going to put the remaining ones in. Again, start off by a couple threads. And I'm just so you can see where I'm putting them at. Pretty much going all around the valve body. Oh, here it is. right there. Except for those two right there. Alright, start these off by hand. Huh?
Which two?
These two
Oh,
right here.
okay.
Well, you can't put nothing there, but...
Right.
and turn them in by a couple threads. Okay, and now the next thing you want to do is let's bring those down by hand, tighten only. Alright, let's bring those down. Alright guys, the next thing we're going to do is tighten the bolts down to 6 foot-pounds. That's very low. 6. Alright, so let's tighten those up. Alright guys, next we're going to do is let's go over here and connect our harness. Put our plug back in, our clip. Go over here, connect our ROM. Okay, next you're going to do is you're going to grab your little bracket right here. This is your oil filter or oil screen a bracket right here. It's going to set on just like that. Get your two 10mm bolts. Install them. Start them off by hand. You're going to tighten those up to 6 foot-pounds.
Or 8 Newton meters.
8 Newton meters. And then you're going to have your manual control lever right here. It sets into it. What the heck? Bring that out. Sets right into there like that. What you can do is, let me just put this right here. And make sure it is working right by reaching up under the transmission. And well, I can't really turn the lever now, but I guess we get the bracket and hook it onto it and turn it, but and put that down by hand tight. So let's get those tightened up first. Alright guys, you know what, before we proceed, let's grab us some needle nose and pull out our pin for our ratio control valve. Okay, we're going to tighten this up to 16 foot-pounds.
22 Newton meters.
22 Newton meters. I'm all the way out here, but when I turn it, it's going to, yeah, there it goes. It's going to go into place. We're going to tighten that up. Then we're going to got your new filter. Put your little goo around the O-ring. Now, if you're using your old filter, I feel sorry for you. You're definitely going to should get a new filter doing this job. All right, you're going to set your filter into the pump right there. And just wiggle back and forth while pushing down. Okay. Then you're going to have two 10mm bolts, short ones. One is going to go right here. Start it off by a couple threads. One is going to go right here. Same thing. And then you're going to have a long one to go right there. Alright, and then we're going to tighten those up to 6 foot-pounds. Alright guys, we're ready to cover this up. Now before we do that, you want to make sure you go over, make sure you didn't miss any bolts, tightening them up, make sure your filter's on there, make sure your manual level control valve, make sure that's in there. Stick our harness inside of here where it's supposed to be. It's kind of coming anyway. Alright, and what I did was take a razor blade and I cleaned extra around there. Now, if you do that, where did I put that razor blade at? I don't know, but anyway, you take the razor blade and what you do is scrape out. Make sure you don't get nothing in there. You scrape out. Now, it may not look like it's like really shiny, nice and clean, because I didn't use no power tools and do it. So, but what you want to do is take your finger and just go across, go around, and you're going to feel it. It's going to feel very, very smooth. And that's how you're gonna know it's done. Oh, here it is. So again, I just took my razor blade and I went like this all around. And sometimes when I got the old gasket, I scraped like that and scraped it out. And I went around and did that. Take your new gasket, you don't use no sealer or anything. You put it up there, you're gonna have 2 dowel pins, one right here and one over here. Just set the gasket on into place. Perfect. Make sure you clean your pan and all the bolts and the 2 magnets. It's not that easy cleaning these magnets. I'm gonna let you know right now, because that metal is on there, and actually you can still see a little bit of them up there. So that little bit is not gonna pick up and not gonna go into the transmission, and it's just a little bit. Okay, you got 2 dimples sticking right there. Take your magnets. Get as much as you can. Set it right there. Take the other one. Now, just in case you wonder what the heck is magnets for, just like you see these metal flakes on there, you're going to get metal flakes in there no matter what. So what I want you to, guys, well, you're rebuilding this transmission, so you ain't got to worry about it. But in the future, if you don't know this, if you don't know what's going on, a good scam that transmission shops are doing, because there is going to be metal, no matter what, there is going to be some metal in there. They'll do a transmission service in their car. They'll come out there, show you the pan, show you the magnets, and there's a bunch of metal on it. As long as it's not big chunks of metal, you're fine. Don't let them talk you into getting a transmission. All right, we got that done. Let's bring it over. Set it down. Why is this thing setting kind of... You know what? Wait a minute. Is this... See, this thing's supposed to set flush, and it's not. And I'm wondering if this pan is bent out right here. You know what, guys? Let me... Over here in the corner, we got the old filter. Let me turn this filter over. Ah! Look at that right there, guys. It sucks. See that right there? See how low it is? Look at that one.
So that's the wrong
That
filter?
sucks, man. Yeah, we got the wrong filter. So we got to get the right filter now. And it sucks. We were so close. We were so close. Ah! Alright. Yeah, you're crying about it now. Because I cried too much and Sylvia's going to call the ambulance on me. So.
Sure will.
So, alright guys, let's get us a new filter. Alright guys, we got our new filter. And yeah, buddy, look at that, man. That's a lot lower. I mean, compared to, you know, this is a, I like what they did here. You notice how the opening is further back towards this way than this one. I like that better because when it sucks up the fluid, it's going right here. The outlet is about the same size, same area as the inlet. So this really don't get filtered. The newer designs, the inlet is way over here, so the fluid's got to go in, circulate, and then come back out on the other side. Circulates a lot better. But enough of this talking. Let's change the filter. Alright, that looks so much better. Now let's check it out. Let's put our pan down over it. Ooh, yeah, boy. Alright guys, now take all your 10mm bolts and you want to put them in by a few threads by hand so we don't cross thread them. Alright, let's get all our bolts in there. Alright guys, we got all our bolts started. The next thing we do is going to torque these down to 6 foot-pounds.
Or 8 Newton meters.
Or 8 Newton meters. Now when you tighten this down, I don't care where you start, but the second bolt better be on the opposite side. So if you start on the corner right here, your next one's going to be over here. Then you're going to go back over here. And then back over here. You're going to keep alternating till you get the whole pan down so you can get it down evenly. Also, while we're doing that, this is a good time to take your other axle seal and install it right on the side of the transmission. So let's get both things. Let's see, anything else we're gonna need to be done? No. Then we might turn the transmission over, but let's get those done. Alright guys, the next thing you're going to do is take your secondary and primary speed sensors, and in your kit you're going to have 2 new O-rings. First take your pick, pop it up. Both O-rings are the same size, so and we're good. That one like it's kind of messed up anyway. So take that one off. Clean it up. Take your little goo. Just put it around the sensor. Both of them. Alright, then take an O-ring. Put it onto the sensor. Roll it down till it goes into that groove. And then coat it again with some goo. Alright, let's put the other one on, and then we're going to meet you back over at the transmission. Alright, we're over back at the transmission. What I'm going to do is let me tilt this up a little bit. Now, on this right here, we got our 10mm bolt in there. That heck is a tool, and I'll take this off. Take the bolt out of here that we put in earlier. Now, you're going to have 2 sensors right here. One is going to have a straight connector and one have an angle. The one we're going to use over here is the straight. This is the primary speed one. So you want to put it in there. You want to try to twist it back and forth while you're pushing it down in there so that O-ring can set. Then take the bolt.
Bad lighting. It's not you. I mean, we did see you.
Oh, alright. Then put that one in. You're going to bring that in by finger tight, and then you're going to tighten that up to 6 foot-pounds. Then, go to the top of the transmission, over here on the bell housing cover. You got your other 10mm bolt, and install the secondary. And then put the bolt in. Alright, let's tighten both those bolts up. Alright guys, the next thing we're going to do is install our cooler. Now you're going to see a seal down in there. That's the old one from the old filter. So just grab your pick and pull that out of there. Throw it away. Your kit's going to come with a new filter. No, you can actually... It's going to come with a new one, so that's all you have to do. Just set that right there, just like that, and you can get a little goo.
Behind.
Okay, and put on that little ring just to help with installation. Dang it. And you're just going to push this on till it stops. And if you want, well, that didn't come off this time. Just push that on. Till it stops. That's it. It's set. Next, you got your cover. Now I already cleaned this up, even though it don't look like it. I just took my razor blade and cleaned it around, and it's smooth. You don't want to use any kind of abrasive tools or anything. Now what we're going to do is go clean this side up. Now we're going to clean this one up, and then take you a pick or something and pop that seal out of there. And also, this one I'm going to get a wire brush, and I want to make sure I clean inside there as well. Alright, let's get that cleaned up. Also, take our 4 10mm bolts out of there. Alright, let's go clean this up. Alright guys, we got that cleaned up. Next thing we're going to do is take you a little goo. Put it around. It's going to help keep that seal, the new O-ring, in place. Alright. Get your new O-ring. Push it down. Take a little more goo. Now I know people call it jelly, transmission jelly, whatever. Call it goo, man. That's what you got. You got goo. It's called goo. So, alright, so we got that on. Now the next thing we're gonna do is it can only go one way, guys. You can notice the bottom two bolts are closer together than the top two. So we're just gonna go like that, and try not to put it on there and move it around, because you don't want that O-ring to come out. So just put it right there. Start a bolt. Get the other bolt. Start that one. And now you can hold that there and put the other two. Then we're going to tighten these down. And these are tightened down to 3 foot-pounds.
Or 4 Newton meters.
Or 4 Newton meters. And when you do, when you tighten them up, whatever one you start with, the next one go across. So if you start from this one, then go to this one. And the other two really don't matter. Alright, let's get those tightened up. Alright guys, the next thing we're going to do on top of the transmission, you got your 2 10mm bolts that you put in there from earlier. Take those out and grab your safety neutral switch, or neutral safety switch, whatever you want to call it. Or inhibitor switch, I don't care. This is a little dirty. Right, Tim.
A little.
Alright. You want to install it onto the shaft, and it can only go one way. You see it? So now, even though I gotta put it on this way, I'll put it like this, and then make sure I can turn that. Push down. And this is adjustable, so you're not gonna tighten these bolts down yet. You're just gonna bring them down till they're like finger tight. Alright guys, the next thing we're going to do is install our shift lever. And we'll install that just like that. Push that down. Now, let's put got a little washer and a nut to go on there. Now, your neutral safety switch now has to be adjusted, or the car will not start. Now, depending on your transmission, you're going to have 2 ways of doing this. First of all, both of them are going to have this little locating hole right here. Mitsubishi and Nissan has another arm connected to this bracket. The arm comes out, and that's all you do is get a pin and stick it in there, tighten the bolts up in this line. Jeep got to suck. Jeep was always sucked. Jeep, you got to buy a special tool. First you got to put it in neutral, and the tool will go on here, into here, and then you lock that into place. We don't have the tool, so what we're going to do is actually adjust it while it's in the car.
In case they want to get the tool, it's alignment tool 9876.
9876 is the alignment tool. Alright, so being that we're not doing that, we're going to put this down, and then we're going to tighten this nut right here. Now, how do you know this thing is in park? You're going to be able to feel it, guys. I don't know if you're going to, let's see if we can hear it. When you're going through any other the gears except for reverse to park, it's just a quick little click. Just like that. Now, when you go into park, it's going to be like a longer one. That's just like that. So we're in the park right now, but and when you're in park, to adjust it, you're not going to be able to tighten up this bolt when you adjust it. That's why it's got to be in neutral, and then you're going to adjust it and then tighten down the bolt. So right now they are going to be finger tight. All right, let's get that nut tightened down. Alright guys, your transmission is done. We are ready to get this back in the vehicle. Now, there is one more very crucial, important step we must do right now. Your torque converter now has the old messed up fluid in it. It does not make no sense in putting that converter in here with that fluid. Now, I know the converters are kind of difficult to drain out, but I am going to show you a nice, easy way of doing that. Alright guys, here's our converter. Inside our converter, we got a bunch of... I don't know if I'll be able to catch that.
Okay, I got some.
The old fluid in there.
Oh no, I didn't catch that.
Oh, the fluid?
No, I got the splines.
Oh, so what you're gonna do, guys? Get you a brake bleeder. We're gonna put a link in the description below. This thing is a brake bleeder, so you can do. You don't have to have nobody stepping on the brake pedal. But this thing comes in handy for a lot of other things. A lot. So get you one. They're very cheap. And what these do is you got the hose right here, so it will suck up anything that's anything you stick it into. So hook up some air to it. Stick the hose down in there. Now check this out. Your converters, the converters are made with a little bit of opening right down here. Well, this is just welded onto it. But there's a little bowl down at the bottom, a little opening, little whatever. Oh.
That explains a lot.
You did.
Thanks.
So stick the hose in there. Well, wasn't that much in there.
That's it?
That's it. Let me get a light, guys, so I can show you down in there what I'm talking about. All right, let's see if we can see in there. Sucks. All right. This is some sucky lighting.
What kind of light is that?
I don't know. Let me suck some more out of there. See the bottom of it. If I pick it up, the fluid's gonna.
Leave it right there. That light is not very bright, is it?
You know what, guys? Let me get another light. All right, guys, we got another light here. See that in there?
Yes.
Alright, it looks like a little bowl down there where the fluid builds up in. So, see that empty? That's good. And what you can do is take the converter, turn it to the side.
It's filled up. Yeah, I see it.
So we're going to hold it like that and suck some water there. Just suck as much as you can out of there. And then we're not going to install this into the transmission yet. We're going to wait till our transmission is on the jack because it's got to set a certain way. So definitely pay attention to the next videos coming up. I hope you enjoyed this series on putting this transmission together.